Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I am the Pentagenarian. I am a 57-year-old veteran that enjoys watching music videos that I have not seen before. Sometimes I know the bands and the song, but I haven't seen the video. So today is a situation where I know the band, never heard the song, never seen the video, and I saw this briefly and it didn't register. And then I saw the title. I'm like, I don't remember reacting to that one. And then someone told me it's off the new album. And then I became even more interested than I was before. This is one of the newer videos off their upcoming album from Jinjer. This is Kafka. Now, what caught my attention about this is Franz Kafka was I want to say he was a patent lawyer, or he was a lawyer that worked in Prague, Czechoslovakia. I want to say late 19th, early 20th century. He wrote stories, very few of which were published during his lifetime. And then upon his death, the person that he made the executor of his will, he made that person promise to burn all of his work. And I don't remember the guy's name, but he didn't. And instead, he published his work. And if you look into literature, Kafka is seen as one of the most influential writers of the 20th century. His impact is because what he wrote about was basically life's struggle, but he did it in a different way. I've read quite a few of his works, and it's always the protagonist is always put into a situation of almost absurdity, but it is insurmountable odds. The short story he's best known for is called Metamorphosis, at least in English. I don't know I think most of his stuff was initially published in German. But the Metamorphosis is about I believe he's a salesman that wakes up one morning to find himself turn into a large vermin. And by vermin, basically envision a cockroach. And it's about isolation and alienation. Whether or not, it's fiction, obviously, but whether or not he actually was, it's very hard to, via the descriptions, even if he's not, this is the way he is seeing himself in the world. The novel that I believe it's his most one, because there were two really significant ones. One was called The Trial, and the other one was called The Castle. And The Trial's particularly horrifying because it is the story of a man that is being accused of a crime, but he's never told what the crime is or what the evidence is that's against him. Yet he has to defend himself at the trial. So he has no information. He doesn't know what his crime is, and that's what he has to go on to defend himself. So he's a very dark writer, but as far as the mindset, our modern mindset, it's fascinating to read his work and realize when it was written, because the themes of alienation and isolation are very much pertinent today. So I want to see, and probably afterwards I'm going to look at the lyrics, because I'm very, 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 very curious as to how they've incorporated Kafka into a song. So we're going to check that out, and I'm going to stop yammering, and we're going to start looking at this video. So I don't know why that is down there. Stop that. There we go. All right, so here we go. This is Kafka, and away we go.
Delicate and thin.
All right. The opening lines, I think that I don't know if this is going to have multiple storylines, but right off the bat, this is indicating to me that this is going to have a heavy influence from the book The Trial. So I'm going to go back 5 seconds. Yeah, right there. One appeared in front of the jury. That sounds like that this whole concept is taken from The Trial. I love it.
Face uncovered against the wind in this life, unprepared with a script unrehearsed, beauty of looks, beauty of faults, frightened of hand, deaf to recommend, anguish in the never love of bliss, room to wake up in the morning, Gregor, Joseph, will it be neglect?
Sorry. Joseph K. is the character. So I'm trying to remember who Gregor was, but that might be a character from another one of his novels. But I remember Joseph K.
Gregor, Joseph, will it be neglected and abused, or wrongfully accused, or eventually plague will catch me, while others see to the horizon. I can't see just beyond. I'm microdosing and staying under a blissful spell. My vision drinks up the ink I dip my eyes in. You came into the world unloved, but love has found you through a word. Cupid pierce your chest with nails. The void will bleed within. The void will bleed within. Absurd of my existence, I'm aching through persistence. The pen will slit the heart. The pen will slit the heart. The void will bleed us. Our shoulder will face. It was ripped up like a mess. As they stamped out blood of my own soul. Unmasking comes in price. All the purest compromise. In explosion, I cement myself for less. No, I am just a ghost at the attic. Life from mirrors doing time. The world has shut me down, but it's more than just mine. Not everything is perfect, nothing happens for a reason. How absurd, what a treason for a man. We are only don't feel sorry, and at night when there's no glory, laugh without interruption to complain.
All right, I'm going to go back 10 seconds. Kafka died of tuberculosis, and that is something that when you are dying, you are coughing up blood. And this is, I know the guy's story, I've read his books. This is gutting me because this is so visceral and so applicable. And there's a lot of people out there that are going to be able to relate to this, but I'll get more into that shortly.
Don't feel sorry, and at night when there's no glory, laugh without interruption to complain. But such my
All right. Wow. Okay. Time to pick this apart a little bit. I think in my prelude to this reaction, I mentioned that he wrote about absurdity. And he spent his life in obscurity. And the one thing that he, I guess you could say, loved was writing. And Franz Kafka, during his life, I read someplace that he burned 90% of what he wrote. Like I said, also upon his death, what he had asked his friend, his executor, to burn, and his friend did not do that, instead published it. And now Franz Kafka is one of the most pertinent authors of our modern age. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are able to relate to this song. And that speaks volumes for the feelings that were held within this man. I know he was engaged 4 or 5 times, never married. And everything that he wrote was very dark. It was set in a palace of isolation. So watching this video and reading the words as they were displayed on the screen, it was genius, and that's the only way that I could put it. I'm very impressed. I never thought I would hear a song in such a way about Franz Kafka and his work. I love the fact that they brought in character names. Joseph K. and Gregor, I think, I'm going to look it up real quick, but I want to say that Gregor was a character from another one of his novels. Because the name just rings a bell. I don't know if it was the castle or the penal colony, but that was another one of his books or stories, was the penal colony. And I just want to look it up because I want to know which Gregor Samsa was. That was the Metamorphosis. There you go. Gregor Samsa was the character. The 2 books I talked about. Gregor Samsa was the character from the Metamorphosis, and Joseph K. was the character from the Trial. In fact, I will confirm that because, Gregor Sam. Yeah, I'm happy because I remember Joseph K., Franz Kafka, the Trial. All right, it pays to read, kids. It'll give you some in-depth information and make, if Jinjer's your favorite band and you want to understand them better, read Kafka, because that, I'm stunned. I'm literally stunned at how much they pulled from his work and applied it to his life of struggle. And the line about coughing up blood, Kafka died of tuberculosis. And at that time, it was not treatable. So I think this is, personally, on a visceral level, this is a masterpiece of a work. And most of the time, it's about vocals and about music. But this time, it's of vocals and music that really stress the concepts behind the author of Franz Kafka. And I think that's freaking awesome. I think that is really cool. I think it is something that not only does it show the talent and the introspection that they do, but it shows that, hey, metal is not just crashing guitars, loud voices. There's some serious shit going on. And I'm very impressed. This is probably top 2 or 3 songs, and a lot of it has to do with the literary allusions placed within the lyrics, because she hit the Trial, they hit Metamorphosis, and they talked about Kafka's life. And I think that's awesome. So if you have not read Kafka, my recommendation is to start with the Metamorphosis. It is a short story, and if it lights a fire in you, then check out The Castle, The Trial, and The Penal Colony. And then I know there's a few collections of short works that he has. And remember, 90% of what this man ever wrote, he burned because of a lack of self-confidence. And he would write, and he would be like, this is garbage, and then he would burn it. But what was saved is a fraction, maybe a tenth of everything he wrote. And with just that, he has become a force posthumously. And again, the absurdity of that. This man was obscure and unknown during his life. Yet someone, a friend of his, chose to, instead of burning the works upon his death, publish them. And in turn, Franz Kafka has become one of the most famous writers ever. That's irony, and that is absurdity. And what is the song about? What is the last words? Talking about absurdity. And it's not a negative thing. It's just a fact of life. There are things that happen that make no sense. And guess what? They're not supposed to make sense. It just happens. So I'm going to leave it here and ponder this for a while, because that was awesome. So in the meantime, you guys take care of yourselves. Be good to one another. And most importantly, don't be a dick. The world has enough of them. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.